Hey, welcome to Dad Talks. I'm Scott.
And I'm Zach. Today we have a special for you. We aren't recording with a camera this time, though. We are looking into getting a new one because we want some better quality.
Absolutely. What's so fucking special about it, Zach?
Um, we're gonna be doing a short episode. It's not really part of our seasonal episodes, I guess you could say, that are in our first season that we're starting.
That's true, I guess. And it's been a little while since we've hung out. Like
Yeah,
we no longer work together, right?
yeah,
So it's a little rugged sometimes. But we thought we'd get together and at least throw something out at you. And we're sorry about the camera. But we've got a better quality camera in the works.
yeah.
So by the next episode, hopefully we're coming at you in 4K. So anyway, we were talking before this, right? Listen to that skitterbug.
Oh
Every
my
time
god,
we
yeah.
come in here.
It's only when we're in here.
So he's got something crawling around his wall. And every time we come in here, that fucker skitters right over the top of us.
Yeah, the whole entire time that we're recording. I mean, you guys can't hear it because,
We don't have a fucking
yeah,
shock mic pointed at it.
but it's,
But this thing is getting me.
yeah, every few seconds it's like, oh, there it is again. But other
now
than that,
now listen to your old lady out there pushing us. I love that.
oh yeah, she's out there on her TikTok live. She's talking to some people, spreading the word. It's great. It's awesome. And we're for those of you out there, me and Scott were discussing earlier. Um, she's actually been a big help. She wants to be our help be our producer. So
Man, wouldn't that be swell?
we're gonna see.
now
Hopefully things go great with that.
now we're starting to be professional a little bit.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
yeah,
We're gonna have to really think this out from now on.
yeah. We really do.
It's pretty rugged.
Like I said, I gotta start getting on social media more so I can stay up to date with some more topics and stories to talk about with these guys. But I mean, I got stuff going on in m- life right now for myself. I can talk about like the reason that I haven't been around to record. There's been a couple of times Scott and I have discussed pushing it off a day, and then it got pushed off another day, and wow, I've been busy with getting a new position. I'm a painter now, and
I like that.
I'm
Me
really
too.
excited to get a new experience.
Now, how is that? It's all spray painting.
Yeah, it's with a spray gun, and I learned how to mix some primers and put in hardener, and like there's a special like fast dry thing you can put in it too.
I
I haven't
like it.
learned that part yet, but it's gonna be pretty cool. I'd like it's gonna help. I wanna see if I could eventually probably get into like some automotive spraying.
That's the way to go.
Yeah,
I think so. Auto body work is like very detailed, and I think there are a lot of old timers now that do it that are going to be either retiring or pushing on pretty soon
mhm,
because that's one of those trades that nobody thinks about, right?
yeah.
But in all honesty, anybody who's got a nice car is going to get their shit sprayed at some point in time.
Oh yeah, especially if you're I mean, not really as much up in our location, but you'd have you you'd have to do it all the time to keep it nice
In
with
the
the salt.
Tennessee area, maybe.
But yeah, somewhere where it's nicer, there's a lot of auto body shops that do some paint quite often.
That's true. That's true. And they are pretty neat. They are pretty neat. I have also been painting, but not cars. No. So we struck out again on on the business front. So went out and started painting apartments now.
Yeah?
It's not too terrible.
No?
No. And I just bought a sprayer myself. So I think we're gonna start spraying them down, which is gonna be super fast.
I've heard and I've seen some videos. It actually looks like it's super efficient.
Oh man, I
Like
know
wicked.
it. And you get real good, you don't even need to really cut in,
No?
right? So I watched a bunch of videos. This old timer had a like a pencil sprayer, right?
Yeah?
And he was doing the edges around the molding. That was pretty.
Huh.
Boy, if you could learn how to do that, that's spot on.
Yeah.
I think so because paintbrushes are a thing of the past.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, you could do a whole room in what? My living room is quite the size. I mean, you guys can see it, or I mean, it's probably like what would you say, 8 foot tall, maybe 30 feet long, and 12 to 14 feet wide.
Yeah,
You paint that with a spray gun in like 15 minutes,
I think so.
maybe. You use a roller, you're in there for like 2 3 hours
Yeah,
by yourself,
I think so. I
unless you
think
got a like wide one.
so. The first apartment I did was about this size. It took me like 18 hours, I think, but I had to do two coats.
Yeah,
So that's a killer.
yeah.
Whatever. It was all right though.
Mhm.
I kind of enjoy it.
It's fun. It's a
It
good. I mean, it can be fun if you make it fun, but it's a fun pastime, I guess, for me.
pastime is what it is, I think. But there's a lot of tradesmen out there that are getting sour at us right now for calling it a pastime because them fuckers have been making great money at it for years.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if I was making really good money at it, I would be looking at it the same way they are. But that's how I want to get. That's kind of what I'm getting at with this.
I think so too. I think we talked about it a little bit last time, but I think working for yourself is the way to go.
Yes,
S-
it is.
s-
Get a cheap portable spray paint booth that sets up outside like a tent one.
Oh yeah, Timu.
Yeah,
Or you Timu that shit tomorrow.
get a couple of cheap spray guns.
I like it.
They all really work about the same.
Yeah, kind of. Pretty much.
Hmm.
And once you now, does train painting go over to auto painting like you think?
So they are like they're hand in hand, but they're day and night when it comes to the types of paint. Like when it comes to the train paint and you're spraying, if you spray like a decent amount on a layer,
Okay.
it's not gonna run really. As long as you start spraying before you are painting whatever you're trying to paint. If you're doing that with automotive, it runs more. Like you put way too much on the spot you're painting, it's gonna start running down and end up on the floor eventually, and you're gonna have streaks down the body of the car or truck, whatever you're painting.
All right. All right. Now I can see how that would be a very good skill to have.
Mhm.
I think so. Because that translates anywhere in the country, right? Which is amazing. And
Yeah.
if you open your own paint booth, what I was getting at earlier is working for yourself as a single parent or a parent in general is the way to go. I think that's like the dream of every.
Yeah.
You just want to spend time with your kids, and I mean, mine are getting older, so it's harder to spend time with them between their significant others.
No,
And my daughter, she works now, which I'm quite proud of. I appreciate that she's worked since she could.
yeah.
Now, what do you think about that? Like, I know you and I had jobs when we grew up. Like, I worked on a farm
Mhm.
forever.
Yeah, I did when I was younger, and then eventually I started working in at Taylor Rental.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, was that before you were 18?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
I
I
was
think
like, I just turned 15. I was almost 16.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, I don't know. I mean, explain for our listeners what Taylor Rental is, I guess.
So Taylor Rental is well, I worked for Taylor Rental Party Plus.
Oh, so you were setting up tents and
So
shit.
yeah,
Okay.
I was Party Plus is they have tents, they have party supplies, they have all sorts of things you could rent for a party, basically that you could think of. I mean, they have a lot more now than what they did before. I mean, especially big thing were the bouncy houses. But
Oh yeah.
that was basically all I ever did was get orders ready, put them in the truck, deliver them, set them up,
All
pick them
right.
up, bring them back, wash them.
Fucking right. Now that's a sweet, sweet gig. I think, especially as a kid too, because that teaches you a little bit of hard work,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
That teaches you a little bit of dedication because you have to show up on fucking time for a real job.
Yeah,
You have to be there.
I can tell you the hours that were like it was like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I had to show up, but there was no end time. It depended on what you were doing. Like you could travel from where you are to an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours away. You could have to break down a huge tent and a whole bunch of stuff, and however long it takes you to do that, if you show back up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, that's when you're done. But you gotta get all that shit unloaded.
Oh yeah, and that's not fucking easy, I imagine.
No.
See, now I never worked for a tent place. I worked on the farm as I was growing up, and then once I got out of the farm, I went to college. But while I was going to college, the first time I worked at a restaurant,
Yep.
and then you did banquet service shit, you know. So you set up tables, chairs. It was a fun time. Of course, you were going through college, so you were getting high all the time. That's all you did. I had a buddy there. We would take turns, and then you come back and wait on tables. It was a good gig. It was a good gig. Got me
See,
through college.
I worked at a I worked at a restaurant for a bit, but they had me as a host.
Oh yeah, you look like a host.
Oh, dude,
Poor guy.
the only thing I hated about it. So I was on the evening shift, and the morning shift before me had 6, maybe 7 hosts.
Oh man,
I came in,
by yourself.
whole evening shift by myself, dude.
Dog
Dinner
shit.
hours? Come on, by myself. I was running around like crazy. It was Uno's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was all right back in the day
Yeah.
for $14 an hour, right there,
Oh yeah.
hosting.
Then of course you had the waiters and waitresses that were like,
Did
oh
they tip you
well.
out?
So the host would get a tip at the host stand, but the
Okay.
waiter's tip was at the table. So you didn't split tips with the waiters.
Oh,
It was
that's
only the
dog
host. Yeah, it
shit.
was horrible because you would have to go and pick up stuff at the table sometimes because the waiter or waitress wasn't quick enough to do it, and you need to seat somebody.
Dog shit.
You don't get no tips for doing any of that stuff.
At good restaurants, like family restaurants, and I've worked in a couple, like through college,
Hmm.
they tip out the hostess. You
Hmm.
you tip the host and you tip the bartender.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Uh huh.
And I think if you don't, that's kind of shit ass of you,
Yeah, and
don't
I
you
was
think?
I was always holding the door for everybody,
Oh man.
in and out. Made sure if they needed something, and like I said, if the waiter or waitress, like if they needed a drink too or something, I would even go and get them a drink, get them whatever they needed.
Did you ever have like some old dude come up and palm you a 50 or palm you a 20?
Never,
Never.
never.
See, I guess Runo's wasn't good
And
enough.
see, I wasn't gonna talk about it because I'm not gonna get deep into it because it's a personal thing.
Oh,
But
okay.
this it kind of makes me go back to what I was talking to you about earlier with the whole with a woman being on TikTok live versus uh
Oh fuck, I know it.
our views
Who
currently.
wants to
Like
listen to us?
yeah. Okay, hold on. I mean, like
Can we say it? It was funny. Come on, go
so
tell him.
so to say, no, I'm not gonna say so say. I'm supposed to stop saying that. He's been on me about that
Oh
since day one.
Lord,
Anyway,
I do the ums. You
uh,
told me I had to stop the ums.
anyway, so I was saying that just because my girl, my fiance, had 1,000 whatever likes on her TikTok live, and however long she was on, I don't think it was that long. And I just started thinking, got to myself, I was like, you know
Said,
what?
boy,
It's like I wish I had a pair of tits.
if you had a pair of tits, we'd have 1,000 listeners right now. He said, but that's not true.
And no, not
No, but
totally
it
with our
definitely is.
podcast, but I mean, if you put it in the aspect of what I was talking about with the host thing, I mean, look at the difference between if you're that old man or just a guy at the bar and you're getting served by a good-looking woman
So
versus some guy.
that's the way it goes, though.
Tell me right now, what would you tip a guy like $50 if you were drunk?
No, well, I don't know. How busy is the bar? Okay, let me tell you the
I don't
science.
know.
Let me tell you the science
Have
behind
you
this.
ever?
Have I ever tipped a man because he was a man? No, you fucking idiot.
See,
But I
exactly.
have tipped a man at a bar good to come back to me. Like on the first round of the night, I'll give him a
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
because he will come back to me every time expecting a 20 out of me.
Yeah.
The motherfucker's getting singles after the first one,
Yeah.
but he will come back because he thinks he's getting a 20.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
that's
science.
the thing. But
Hmm
I mean, back when I was going to the bar all the time, I remember all my buddies all the time. There was a waitress versus a waiter, or
Yeah, of
a girl
course.
bartender, whatever. They'd be throwing all their money out of their pockets, dude,
See, now I wasn't like that.
just to try and
You
get that
get
girl's attention.
20% is what you get every time. Well, it starts at 20% and it goes down, right?
Yeah,
If
but
I
this is drunk mind, like
oh
hammered.
oh, I was thinking like dinner. Drunk mine, no, you're just getting whatever's left over of the round because I'm usually buying 3 beers, and it comes out to like $15. So there you go. Here's $5, whatever. Take it. I'm drunk. It's a $20 bill. Boom, take it.
Yeah,
That's the way it goes.
yeah,
I mean, if I got to pull out extra cash, it's whatever the smallest bill is next. Because I'm coming back 10 fucking times.
yeah.
He's going to get his money's worth. She's going to get her money's worth.
That's the way I've always been. But I mean, like I said, there's people out there that aren't.
Yeah, whatever. And you know as well as I do, after you get 3 drinks in you, everybody's sweetheart. Sweetheart, give me 3 Bud Lights,
I,
please.
I gotta put it out there too. We're not we're not putting this in a sexist way. This is just
Not at all.
a thought that I wasn't gonna talk about, but
We had to.
I did,
Ye did.
and we've got nothing against women at all.
Oh my God,
But
stop. Everybody
fucking,
knows that.
I just had to clarify this because I don't want some people out there to be like, oh, yeah.
You
I
know,
don't want them to take it the wrong way.
think about it. Some people are always going to take it the wrong way. We're very positive about it. And we're not saying anything
Well,
that's
no,
not true.
yeah, but then there's people that are gonna say, oh, that's not true.
Mm,
I
Everybody,
just try to be nice to everybody.
any statement you're ever going to make, any statement you're ever going to make in life, somebody's going to say, ah, 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 ah.
Oh yeah,
Do you know that's why you never read the comments?
yeah.
That's what they say. You never read the comments.
I don't think you
But
know
that's
what.
not true. We read every
I've read.
comment. I read every email.
Yeah.
So we love it. We definitely love it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. But back to the conversation.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry to plug there for a half a second. I'm not saying it in a negative way, and I knew that
No.
you weren't saying it in a negative way, but it's kind of true. She had a
Yeah.
thousand people watching her fucking dance around the living room on TikTok, listening to I don't know what it is right now. I can't tell you. You give me another half-second pause, but something. But 1,000 viewers. Now you go take your cell phone right now, open up TikTok Live, and start dancing around the living room to fucking I don't know, dude. Josh Turner. I don't fucking know. See how many fucking people are watching you.
Two.
Two, and one of them's your mom. She's saying, "Oh, look at him, my handsome man."
Oh boy.
That's true. If my mom didn't say that, if I was dancing around on my
Yeah.
TikTok, I would be.
Disappointed.
She would be my first call after
Uh huh.
TikTok.
I'd be upset.
Mom, what the fuck?
I did that for
Probably.
you.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's funny. Oh Lord. No, my mom would call me right after. She'd be like, "I knew you were retarded." I'm like, "Mom, you can't say that anymore. Mom, what the fuck?" She doesn't care. She's living in a senior community
Oh yeah.
in South Carolina, playing volleyball on Sundays and loving life. She
Fuck.
doesn't care what anybody thinks anymore, and I love it. She's like that old. The only-
I'm not saying I want to be old, but I want to be there.
right? That's where it's at. When you could just say whatever you want.
Yeah.
My dad's just as bad, but he's wicked opposite. My dad's like that old Republican dad that will watch Fox News and then get angry.
Mhm.
It's fucking funny. I love it. It's fucking crazy. He's at that point in age where he'll say dumb shit all the time too. But not like dumb shit, but it'll be profound.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, Dad, what the fuck are you talking about right now? So him and his old lady have got this thing, right? His his wife, excuse me. I've got this thing where they like cat and I don't know, cat and mouse each other,
Mhm.
right? Which is cute as fuck sometimes, but sometimes like, Dad, how do you say shit like that to her? He looked at me one day. Well, I can't say it. I can't say it. I love the old bird. It was funny, but it was quite profound at the same time. But I'm kind of hoping that someday when my kids are my age, that I can do the same shit for them, right? And I think that's everybody else's hope.
Mhm.
Right now, it doesn't seem like it. I know your kid's small, and he still comes running at you. Dad, 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 I love you. Fucking kids never wearing pants either. That fucking kid. That's awesome. I love it. Good for
Dude,
him.
you put a pair of pants on him, he'll pull them right off.
I can't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb.
Mhm.
But once you hit 75, you could probably do that again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure if you work at the old folks home, which let me tell you, I'm kind of excited to hear about. I applied at an old folks home just to go hang out with old folks and listen to them because some of them say some profound shit.
Oh, I love talking to fucking old people.
Me too,
I
dude.
love it. Even, like, when I grew up, when I was probably I don't know, I was probably, like, in between 10 to 6 years ago or something like that.
Hmm.
There was this, old homeless guy that was always at the McDonald's in Plattsburgh.
Oh,
He wore that
rugged.
camouflage jacket and long white beard. I don't know if you ever seen him.
I
He
don't
always rode
think
a
so.
bike.
Oh, see, I've seen a
He
bunch
had a
of.
bunch of chains on all the time, like
There
gold
were a
chains.
bunch of homeless people in Plattsburgh, but they all went in periods,
Well,
right?
yeah. But anyway, this guy was around for a while,
Okay.
and I'd always seen him. Always seen him. Of course, I was a kid. I was told not to go talk to people that I didn't know, so I didn't. Anyway, my grandmother brought me McDonald's one day. We came walking out. He was walking in. She started talking to him, and the conversation went on for like maybe an hour, 2 hours,
Now, was any of it profound or was he rambling?
and I stuck around for that conversation. And he was actually in the army.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and his wife died, and it was one of those. I don't know which war it was. I forgot. It was when I was young. I don't remember the whole conversation really at all. But this guy knew everything. Like you asked him something, and he knew about it. Like
Th-
he could tell you pretty much anything. He could tell you how to do literally almost anything. He was really smart.
That's a skill that we've lost as a civilization, I think, with the
Yeah,
invention of a cell phone.
and but yeah, he was in some war that was just looked down upon, and uh, he lost everything.
That's not well. If it was a war that was looked down upon, my guess would be it was Vietnam,
Yeah,
which was a terrible, terrible
yeah,
homecoming for the troops. For
yeah.
yeah, you can watch video of it. They were throwing paint on them and screaming at them and shit. After these guys were in the jungle, like I think they stayed there. Don't quote me because I have no idea, but I want to say it was like 300 days or some shit like that. You were on rotation. I have no idea. I'm just going by like Platoon or something
Yeah.
like that I watched. But they stayed out there in terrible, terrible conditions, watching their buddies get killed in the jungle, and they came back to people like throwing paint on
Yeah, my grandfather's told me some stories, and they're messed up. Like he's got one that he used to tell me about that gives him nightmares to this day.
them. See, my grandfather never really talked about that except one time he did. Right, like one time he was sitting at the kitchen table real late at night. I don't want to get into it because
Yeah,
it was pretty nuts, man. What they had to go through.
it's that's kind of like his story. That's why I didn't really
Yeah,
talk about it.
no,
But it all sparked from when I was young. I had one of those things where you go home and you talk to somebody and you do a little interview.
yeah,
Well, I asked him about the war 'cause that's what I was interested in. He told me about stuff. Of course, by the time I was older, I was still interested in it, so I asked him some more. And there was one night he had a nightmare, and then I was like, "Hey, what's wrong? Like, what's going on?" And the next day, he had told me about it, and oh my god, like I can't believe. And he tells me he sees the images in his head, and I couldn't.
I know, but that's another thing too, right? Like people in your generation, and even people in my generation, couldn't imagine the gruesomeness that those guys had to live through.
Hmm.
And before they went, they were all farmers. They're like mill workers that were working in gruesome, gruesome conditions in mills that we would never even look at now as a populace,
Hmm.
right? Like, could you imagine the people at our plant going into a mill where they knew that their arm could get cut off at any minute
Yeah,
and still wanted to work there for 25 cents a week or some stupid
yeah,
shit like that?
yeah. That's like my grandfather. He went in when he was just turning 18, like just turning 18, and he went to follow his brother.
Yeah, yeah. That would have been, Man, that's wild. My grandfather was too. He was in the Marines during Korea.
Mhm.
That was, yeah, he's got some terrible. Like I said, he would make jokes, right? If you'd ask him
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, he would never talk about anything you did. Oh yeah, the strippers out there were great because he was just an old man
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time. He just said whatever he wanted, and I loved it. But one time he broke right down, man, and I never seen the old man close to crying, but he was close to it.
Mhm.
Them old birds didn't cry.
No.
They were solid as fuck.
Yeah.
You look at every one of them from back in the day, monsters.
Mhm.
Hands this big around, old
Yeah.
farmers that
Go to
was,
shake their hand and they
rah.
they barely got a grip on you, and it's like, "Oh, let go.
Yeah,
You're crushing my
right,
fucking knuckles, dude."
man. That was the thing too back in the day because all
Uh-huh.
them fuckers worked from the
Uh-huh.
time they were 2 to the time they were 68
Yep.
and didn't fucking say shit about it.
Yeah, my grandpa's got fucking bear paws on him.
It's nuts, man.
Mhm.
And the work ethic back in the day is just crazy to look at
Yeah.
compared to now.
And, I mean, bring another thing up to go with their work, when I, started my last job and we were talking about how much, I was getting paid, me and him, the amount of money that they were getting paid to do the things they were doing is
Oh
just crazy.
Lord.
I mean, yeah, I know the cost of stuff was different, but it was still crazy.
Now let's jump back to the 1980s. Now think about all them guys in New York that were working on those steel buildings.
Mhm.
Those motherfuckers didn't have OSHA to tell them they needed to wear a harness.
No.
Do you think them fucking men were up there wearing a harness, crawling across them fucking girders?
That's like, "Oh, you wanna crawl back down and eat your lunch, or are we gonna carry it up here and just wait until it's time for lunch and eat it up here?"
That iconic picture of the
Yep.
fucking bunch of them sitting on the,
Yep.
yeah, that was crazy, dude. Could
Mhm.
you imagine standing up there with no fucking vest on, no shit
Yeah,
off?
no hard hat, no nothing.
Oh
Just
fuck.
chilling on a little beam big enough for you to sit your ass on.
Not even. It was, what are they, 6 or 8 inch I beams?
Something like that.
That's wild. And them fuckers are running up them.
Uh-huh.
That's wild. They've got a big thing over in Akwesasne. I saw it one time when I was driving by. They had a big, like it was a big billboard at one of the rest stops
Mhm.
talking about the Akwesasne steel workers or something like that
Yep.
from back in the day. And they had a big picture of, don't quote me because it could have been another rest stop at a different. But anyway, back to the story. It had the same picture, but with just a bunch of tribesmen sitting on it. It was pretty cool.
Huh.
I thought it was neat.
Didn't know that.
I'm not. Hmm, don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. It's definitely a rest area in New York I stopped at that I was reading it.
Yeah.
But I mean, within the last couple of years, I've been all over New York. Oh
Oh,
no,
you hit me with them earlier.
I know, but I
You
held them
got me.
off.
Yeah, but it got me.
Ah, don't. You almost got it. That's like a thing here. We record these pretty late because we want to get something out to you. So we wait for everybody to be done work just so we can come hang out,
Yeah,
do a little bullshit, call it a special. I mean,
pretty much. Yeah, like could bring you guys up to date on some stuff that's gonna be going on. We got some stuff planned.
oh yeah, a couple guests.
Um, we got one scheduled so far. We're having a meeting with them this weekend, and then next Sunday we're gonna record an episode at I guess 9 o'clock,
I think that's what we said
and
because it's
it's
6 o'clock their time, right?
yeah, it's
Because
gonna be with
go ahead,
Eric and Anthony from Raw Minds.
yeah, the Canadian boys.
Um, we were just on an episode of theirs.
That was interesting.
I think they were posting that Wednesday, right?
I think that's what they
This
said.
past Wednesday.
They were going to do a midweek special,
Yeah.
which is pretty interesting. Those guys do a men's mental health podcast. They're at Raw Minds on everything.
Yep.
If it's a social media, they're definitely on it. Just look up Raw Minds.
Yep. Raw Minds podcast too. If you can't find it with Raw Minds.
Yeah, yeah, and they post about some good content,
Yeah,
man.
they really do.
I think the men's mental health issue is a very unspoken thing nowadays.
Yeah,
Bec-
I'm really glad that he reached out to you and you reached back.
I know what how fortuitous that was.
Yeah.
They were that was really neat.
Yeah.
We just kinda it was a meeting by accident, I guess. I had posted I was trying to pump our show, and I pushed it out into a men's mental health thing on Facebook, and then Eric answered back, and there we go, 2 episodes were born.
Yeah.
I mean, albeit 2
And
episodes
probably
are
more to
not
go.
born yet. I think so. Those guys are really cool,
Yeah.
and what they're doing is really important.
That is.
Um, just getting the word out, right? And then pushing help for whoever wants it.
Yeah, I'm well, I mean, can't speak for you, but I'm sure you'd agree. I'm there along with them if they need any support with that. Like always, that's
Absolutely.
why I'd agree to go on their podcast anytime.
Absolutely. I mean, an open invitation anytime they wanna come
And
on
then
here.
that goes out to anybody listening to us. Shoot us an email at dadtalks.2025@gmail.com if you ever want to be a guest.
So we've got a couple line on the have you checked the Gmail lately?
No, I have not. I haven't been on
So
lately.
we've got a couple.
Really?
Yeah, we've had a couple people reach out on Instagram and Facebook. I've been messaging back and forth.
See, I don't have Instagram or Facebook
Oh, I'll
logins yet.
give you those today. You gotta get on that.
Yeah, I'd like
I
to.
gotta get the TikTok back from you too, I think.
Okay.
It's weird how we gotta make separate TikToks. That's the way it goes. I've never had a TikTok before. Call me a boomer old fuck if you want. But I was always anti TikTok from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. But now, super TikTok. But still kind of anti TikTok. Because think about it. Now, hear me out here. In China, if you go on the Chinese TikTok, sports, education, like important
That's what
stuff,
I've heard,
important stuff. That's what I've heard too,
but
right?
I really like. I've heard that, but I want to see proof because I want to see if it's really that much of a difference.
We're going to get that VPN going tonight, buddy, and we're going to check this shit
We
out.
should.
I think we should because this will be some real hard evidence.
Uh huh.
But if it's true,
But I mean, at the same time, American society, with everything we've got, we're entertainment based. Look at
everything
what we're doing.
everything is entertainment based.
What are we doing right now? We're doing this for the entertainment of others,
I think so. I think so.
and it's kind of our own entertainment at the same time.
Yes, yes. I find this very
Uh
entertaining.
huh.
I mean, it's funny. Think about it. Think about it. It's hilarious. But at the same time, I think we do it more for ourselves. Just
Yeah.
because we like to sit here and bullshit. And like we said, sometimes it's interesting. Never profound, sometimes interesting.
Yeah, I think the only profound thing that I've ever said on mic was in that last episode with Eric and Anthony on there.
Ooh,
I couldn't even tell you what it was word for word. I do remember it,
I
but
can't remember. What was your answer?
I had
S-
said so. What was the question? So they,
So they ask every guest one question. And what was your message
yeah.
to the
Uh,
world?
so mine was about people that were in my generation, basically. I mean, it kind of goes out to everybody, but it kind of focused more on our mentality. But it was more or less about not don't be afraid to ask for help because everybody needs help.
You stole mine. That's what I said.
Yeah, it went along with it, but it was my generation.
I know.
I
I
wanted
know.
to talk to I
Ah,
wanted to talk to the ones that are kind of gonna be the next people to be in charge with what's going on in this country. Like
I think that's an important thing to cover. And that's an important thing to look into.
they need to know like this is how life is.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid to reach out if you need to. The only way that you're gonna get a step ahead is if you reach out every once in a while.
I think I think that has a lot to do with the way you were raised, buddy. My man, because your generation is nothing like the people up here from your generation, I guess. And it's even creeping into up here a little bit.
Mhm.
Your work ethic is outstanding comparatively, I think, which is an important plus to stands you out from your generation. And my generation is no better. but I've had a work ethic instilled in me from young, because
Yeah.
I come from a family of farmers and
Yep.
scrapyard workers,
Yep.
and them fuckers worked. And
All day.
there was 7 of them, and all of them fuckers were out there slaving and didn't cry about it one bit.
Nope.
So you didn't think that we got raised any different than that. That's the way it got handed down, right?
I could tell you being in my dad's house, if you weren't up by a certain time, you were getting up
You were fucking right.
every day of the week.
Yep. Yep. Didn't matter if it was Saturday or Sunday, buddy. You were
He'd
getting
find
up.
something,
Yep.
even if there was nothing.
Summer break too?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We
Even
were
if there. Oh look, there's one stick in the yard. Go rake the whole yard.
Oh, no. We weren't that rough.
No, it was
That
yeah,
was
but
like some
that was on the days where there was absolutely nothing to do. Everybody was just being really lazy.
That's true.
And my dad wanted people out of
That yeah, yeah. That latchkey kid shit.
the house.
Get on out here. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Ain't that the way it goes?
He's like, if I'm gonna be out here, you're gonna be out here.
Yep.
Let's go.
We were cutting wood all summer,
Oh
buddy.
yeah, that's what me, my brother, and my dad were doing.
Oh yeah, we cut wood for everybody too.
Cut that wood, pull it out. Well, we
Yeah.
were bringing it to the mill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we were cutting firewood. So that was throwing 60 or 3 foot logs. And now think about this when you're like, right now it doesn't sound too impressive, but when you're like 12 or 13, a 3 foot log weighed fucking 500 pounds to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that, but
The first 20 of them.
it
After
was
that,
it was real shitty when we started off with logging at dad's.
yeah.
Yeah, it was we had the log trailers from Mike and Mike's.
Oh yeah.
And
Now them old birds were
so
funny.
you pull out your homemade post on one side of the trailer.
Oh yeah.
And we always had to remake some all the time because we stacked them all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
So we were putting full logs the length of the trailer on there, but here's the catch: in the beginning, there was no tractor. We had a
Oh.
four-wheeler dragging the logs out.
Oh.
Guess what? Pick that log up, put it on the trailer. Then pick up the next one, put it on the trailer. And then you got to pick them up, stack them on top of the next ones. And we went all the way to the top of the trailer doing that. You'd climb up on top with somebody, and there'd be two more people down at the bottom. Pick up the log, hand it to the other people on top, then pick it up the rest of the way, stack it. There you go, keep going.
Oh. That's rugged. See, we weren't that bad. We would skid it out. We got a tractor after a while, but it was an
That's what
old
we did.
case.
We had an all Ford.
Yeah, narrow front end on it
Yeah.
too. On mine too, and that fucker was rickety going down
Oh
hills.
yeah.
I don't know if everybody knows what a narrow front end tractor is, but back in the day, they made the tires what 2, 3 feet apart in the front,
Yep.
and if you were going down a hill, it was treacherous,
Mhm.
treacherous as could be.
Going on the plank road there.
Oh, don't talk about my hometown like that, son.
No one know, but you go with those tractors in the woods out there. I mean, it's all swamp.
Oh yeah,
You're bouncing up and down, hitting holes, everything else with those tractors. Yep. Oh, we're almost tipping over.
swamp. There you go, swamp right into the bushes.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing down there in the pecker brush?
Oh, it was great. We had the whole freaking mud pit to go through before we got to where we were logging.
Oh, I remember one time I flipped a tractor, and my grandfather was riding behind us in a 4-wheeler. He didn't say how I fell off the tractor into a bush. What are you doing down there in that pecker brush? Didn't ask how I was or
Yeah.
nothing. Just said, what the fuck you doing down there in the pecker brush? Oh, I said, I'm just resting, boss. I'm just resting.
See,
Oh,
go ahead.
no. It was just terrible. That
Yeah.
was the funniest
I
thing.
think the funniest, well, worst thing for me and my brother, but funniest thing for my father was so we had I think it was like a 500 or a four-wheeler
Okay.
Yamaha, and I had four-wheel drive, but so you see that old Ford tractor, we didn't quite know that the starter had a little bit of a problem with the connection to the battery, and she quit on my brother driving down the trail. Dark out, we were trying to get out, fucking pitch black. And that thing has no lights. The four wheeler does. Shitty as fuck. You slowed down. And it was an older four wheeler, so the lights would fucking dim down. And got to the point. Started pouring out. We dragged that tractor out with four wheeler. Oh my god! Took
Fucking
forever. We got to the end of the trail to where my dad could see us coming up. He come running out. Started to right up. And we're
Oh
like, what,
no.
dude? Come
Come on.
on.
There's tricks with them old tractors.
Yes, and I learned them as I went.
Oh yeah. They were hard. They had the bubble on the side. You had to pull the bubble
Hmm.
off, pull it down, empty it out, clean it out, put it back on, fill it up with gas, go around, crank the fucker on the front. They were fun. Now, that old tractor, the one that I was talking about, died one day. My brother was driving it down the turnpike,
Yep.
and it was, just about dusk. He was crossing the road, and it stalled out in the middle of the road,
Mm.
just right up there on the flataway. And some old bird was doing 65, had it on cruise control while my brother was on it, smacked the front end of that tractor and spun it around. My brother was hanging on for dear life like this, shaking. Ah, boy, it was scary.
Wow.
Yeah, that was wild. And then about 30 seconds later, another car, wham, right into the front of that thing.
Wow.
It was nuts. Luckily, nobody was really hurt. The one old bird, he had to be rushed away, but no real
Hmm.
damage. They just want everybody that's to get checked out,
Yeah.
which was, and surprisingly enough, as small as that tractor was, no damage at all to my brother.
Wow.
He was shaking right up though, that poor kid.
I could just imagine.
Yeah, right. I think he was like 16 or something like that at
Oh
the time.
boy.
Could you imagine looking at death at
Oh
16?
boy.
That would ruin you. I don't think even as an old man you want to look at death that
No.
close. Have you ever been in a car accident?
So I've been going down Plank Road. I'm not gonna say who it was.
There it is again.
Yeah, it is. But there's a lot of planks.
Couple of them.
There's a lot in this country.
Oh yeah, there is.
But anyway, I'm not
Hey.
gonna say who it was because I'm not gonna incriminate nobody. But
Statute of limitations and all.
we were going a little fast. By a little, we were definitely going in triple digits at Pontiac Grand Dam,
Okay,
and
those
of
are
course,
nice.
it's this time of the year. Snowy out, some black ice. Roads were clear. Didn't know there was black ice though.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Start coming. Get to uh, it's just one of the I can't say it really, but like just one of the little curves. It's not really that bad,
Yeah,
but
there's only like
it's
two
slight
curves on
curve.
that fucker anyway.
Not too much of a curve, but
No.
they're just about to where we're getting to the house.
Oh.
Next thing you know, is we start doing 360s,
Oh fuck.
going over 100 miles an hour. Oh my fucking! I've never held on for my life so fucking hard,
Now do you drive
and I
100 miles an hour still?
yeah.
I fucking knew it. I knew it.
I held on for dear life. I just about shit myself as a kid. Ended up in the snowbank on the side of the road. Luckily,
Man,
no
that's
damage.
no damage to you.
No fucking. The car was fine, dude. It was just like
Really?
straight powder snow. We spun in 360s all the way down the road and started slowing down, and we ended up in the snowbank. Somehow we just kept going straight, but spinning.
That is wild. I've done this similar, but the car ended up total. I was driving a little Suzuki, right? It was my mom's car too. And I was driving to work in the morning. I lived in Saranac Lake at the time. I was driving to Lake Placid. And there's a windy road that you can take as a back road. And I was going up the windy road. Of course, I was probably driving a little too
Oh
fast.
yeah,
Left late for work because it
of
was at
course.
4 o'clock in the morning. At 4 o'clock in the morning, and Scott don't mix well most of the time. Spun right out, flopped it on top of each other, on top of the
Oh
roof. I think I was 18 at the time, and I was scared. Scared. Jumped up, got out of the car, into the woods. There she goes, and sat there because there was no cell phone service,
mhm.
no heat in the car. 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
freezing my nuts off,
Yep.
pissing myself because I just almost died.
Yeah. The only worst experience I've had like that was when I wrecked my four wheeler. Well, I didn't wreck it. The A arm on the front gave out.
Now, what's an A arm?
So the A arm is yeah, it hold on the four wheeler holds the stability
Okay,
for the front to all four, depending on which four wheeler. Not all of them have them. It all depends how they're built. But it holds your wheel at its right height.
okay,
And basically, if it breaks, then your suspension, if I mean, the weight of the four wheeler is going to be too much for just the suspension. Your tire's just going to go straight up, which is going to cause you to roll, which is what happened to me. See, my mistake was I was real young, like real. I was probably 11, 12, maybe 13. Started taking off, sped right the hell up, let off the throttle. I took my hands off the throttle because my strap wasn't tied on my helmet.
Okay.
Just started to go ahead and start tying it. And the A-arm gave out going across the field, maybe 40 miles an hour or so. And it just started rolling. And I was rolling with it.
Oh
But
no.
first, as soon as it started rolling forward. My helmet, I didn't have it tied yet, launched right off my head.
Oh.
Flew, dude. I didn't even see it go. Yeah, I couldn't even see what was happening. And I remember getting hit by the four wheeler quite a few times and hitting the ground a lot, and then just kind of sliding to a stop with the four wheeler.
Uh huh.
And then I kicked it off myself, got up, couldn't see out of one of my eyes because I took one of the handlebars to my eye,
Oh.
right in the eye socket.
Lord.
Yep, a swollen right shot. And started running back to the house. My grandfather was the only one there. I was yelling, "Papa, Papa!" Dude, I was terrified.
Oh, I can
I thought I
imagine.
lost my eye. I thought I was fucking like I thought the handlebar went like straight into my eye socket. I didn't know what was going on. And my eye was swollen shut. I didn't know if I could see anymore.
Oh man. I can just imagine being a little kid and having that shit
Yeah, I
happen,
never
bro.
rode that four wheeler again. I fixed it and sold it.
Yeah.
I
That's so
kept it for like 3 years and then I sold it.
really.
Yep, because I wanted to ride it.
But you didn't want to.
Then I was like, no. I knew it was fixed and I knew it was perfectly fine. We even fixed other stuff on it to make sure it was fine. And I was like, no. I was just terrified. I
Really.
got back on other four wheelers, but it was just that one. It bothered me
That's fair. I gotcha.
because I bought it brand new, and that thing did that to me. Like it just gave out. Never had a four wheeler do that to me before.
I've never had a four wheeler just give out like that.
Yeah, I know.
Ever
It was.
fucking
I
ever.
was just riding. It was just flat field, dude. It was. It was. I wasn't doing nothing rough or anything.
That's just the way she
Just
goes.
gave right out, and I was like, wow.
That would be scary as shit, buddy.
Yep.
You could just imagine.
But
Oh boy.
yeah, we went a little bit longer than we were.
See now, we just thought this was gonna be a short bullshit episode for you guys, but here we go. Full time TED or Dad Talk. I almost call it a
Yeah,
TED Talk.
basically.
I've been watching TED Talks all week, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many interesting TED Talks. Thousands. Hey, have you ever looked into that just one
Yeah.
time?
Yeah. They so social teacher in school when I was in high school
Okay.
brought up TED Talks,
All right.
and we had to like do our own like TED Talk in school.
Oh, now that's I had a public speaking class the first time I went to college, and that's what they made you do is give a TED Talk. Now, what'd you do yours on? Do you remember?
Oh,
No. See, it's been fucking forever. I was trying to think of mine while
oh,
you thought of
you're gonna have
yours.
to give me a minute on that one. I'm not even.
I'm
Oh
I
boy.
almost want to say I did mine on Ebola.
So the worst part is, I can tell you exactly what my science presentation was on, but I cannot tell you
What
both my science
what grade?
presentations. Uh, 12th.
Okay. All right. I remember my ninth grade science project.
It was 12th, but 12th. Well, no, 12th, and the other one was 10th because it was the same teacher.
Okay.
He was a cool teacher. He was an old man.
Was she?
No, Schultz,
Schultz. That was my favorite
dude.
teacher, bro.
My first one, mushrooms.
No shit.
He loved it. Loved it. Everybody else in the class, they did these awesome presentations, dude. Don't get me wrong. They were great. I was interested in them,
Absolutely.
but I got the best score because it was on mushrooms, dude, and it had his attention like that. Like
Love that old
you know
bird.
that old guy. And then
Loved
the
him.
next one, of course, when I was in 12th grade, on pot.
No.
Oh, dude, he approved it right off the back. I was like, "Do you
Really.
mind if I do a presentation on this?" He's like, "Dude, I don't care."
That old
I was like, "Sweet, dude." He
loved
let
him.
me put up pictures of it and everything on the presentation, right up on that board in front of everybody.
I love that dude.
Yeah,
He was my life science teacher, I think, in what is that, 10th grade or ninth
he
grade?
was 10th grade, and then
10th
he
grade.
ended up doing another. So there was kids like me who didn't want to take bio,
Oh, yeah?
and well, I had problems with somebody in the class. and
Ah,
just so happened to be the fucking teacher put me and him as lab partners.
of course.
I looked at him, I was like,
Nope.
"I'm dropping your class, or else there's gonna be problems." He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You're setting me and him together." He's like, "Well, you're gonna have to get over it." And I'm like, "Nope, I'm dropping your class." I was like, "Every day we're gonna be trying to hurt each other, dude, with whatever experiment you got us
Yeah.
doing."
Yeah, that's the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
You'd be scalping a frog up, trying to cut each other like fucking inmates.
Yeah. Oh, here's the Bunsen burner. Let me see if I can burn
See,
this.
I'm gonna fucking. Could you imagine two little kids doing some dumb and dumber shit like that, trying to
Yeah.
burn each other with a Bunsen beaker? And the teacher just be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Ah!
Knock it off.
It's exactly how he'd be too. Especially in biology, it was Mr. Bushy,
Mhm.
and he didn't. He loved yelling at people. Like, what
Oh,
the fuck are you doing?
oh, he really didn't care.
He
There,
was awesome, that
when
bird.
the quarterly reports would go out, oh, he'd give it right to you if your class wasn't doing good.
Absolutely
I remember I loved science, so I always did good in science. My class I had with him, we had a lot of lazy people, and first quarter rolled around. We
done.
came to class. Oh my god,
That's.
was that ever a talk from him? And he did not care what he said.
I love that about those old
And
teachers.
nobody there would say a fucking thing to him because he'd been there so long.
Mhm.
I mean, he had a point.
We had a handful of those teachers at our school.
Oh yeah,
I hope most of them made it through to when you went to school because they
yeah,
were
they all did.
very
Most of them.
knowledgeable. And on top of knowledgeable, they were very personable
Mhm.
and they would tell you how it was.
Mhm.
Whereas nowadays, I hate to get into that nowadays again, but you can't do that.
I mean, Schultz and Bushy always told me because I mean, I was a little bit of a hard-headed kid, more
We
than a
all
little
were.
bit.
We all were.
But I didn't want to apply myself a lot as I got older. I was more worried about other stuff than school, of course.
I agree.
And Schultz and Bushy always gave me that. You got the golden ticket. I was like, what do you mean? You got the golden ticket? Like, the fuck are you talking about? Didn't care as a high school kid. They're like, you got the golden ticket. They're like, if you would apply yourself to everything that you do, you would be great.
That's good.
And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I was just some high school kid that was just like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. But now that I think about it this day, I'm applying myself to a lot of stuff, and I'm doing a lot of things.
You are. You are. And I think now, as a younger man myself, I've heard that a couple of times.
Yeah.
In fact, my second time going to college, I had a English professor that told me that about my essays.
Yeah.
And it kind of was like, what do you mean, lady? That's not even that great.
Uh huh.
She's like, no, if you would apply yourself like this to everything, the same thing. And you find it's kind of true, right? Now think about it. This podcast isn't great yet, but we both applied ourselves pretty hard to it.
Mhm.
And we try and come up with good content for you guys on a weekly basis. And we've applied ourselves quite well.
Yeah.
Just think of the possibilities. And now I think any kid needs to hear that though. I tell my kids that on a constant basis.
Mhm.
Just because you need that little push. Sometimes you need somebody to give you that little shove in the direction, right?
That's for sure.
And that's your job as a parent.
Yep.
In fact, your most important job. I only want for my kids more than what I had.
Yes.
And I think that's any dad's wish.
Yes.
And that's a good spot to end it.
Mhm.
I think so because we're running into it.
Yeah, we are. Well, we look forward to seeing you guys again on our next episode. We hope that you guys enjoyed everything that we had to talk about today.
And once again, guys, look us up on all social medias.
Oh yeah.
We'll post them all down in the description.
Yep.
Next week, we'll have the camera back for you.
Yes.
Once again, in 4K quality. And then I think that's all I got tonight. What about you, buddy?
I believe that's it. I think that's all wrapped up.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
agree.
guys. And I'm Scott,
And I'm Zach.
and we'll catch you next time.
Yep, we're out of here.